I don't know if that's ever happened to any of you, if you've ever had kind of quite a good day at work, you got everything done that you need to get done, it's all gone well, and then you've been kept behind at the end for some reason. Anyway, thanks very much. Right, the encore. I suppose I better do some more jokes. Really? How many do you want? 10? I could do 10. Should we count them down? Yeah, all right, why don't we count them down? Fuck it. I've got a friend, she's got a theory. She reckons the way to drive a man wild with desire to nibble on his earlobes for hours and hours. I think it's bollocks. One. Hang on, all together or not at all? One. Oh, we've got to do this 10 times now. I've talked myself into a corner. Right. My mum told me the best time to ask my dad for anything was during sex. Not the best advice I've ever been given. I burst in through the bedroom door saying, "Can I have a new bike?" He was very upset. His secretary was surprisingly nice about it. I got the bike. 2. I went to the races last week with a friend. He said, "Don't back the heavily handicapped horses." I said, "I'm not a fucking idiot. I know that for them it's all about taking part." In their own way, they're all winners. In Pizza Express, you can now get garlic bread with cheese and tomato. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, that's a pizza. Well, 4 and fuck off. Not you. A lot of people say that men with big flashy cars have got tiny cocks. Am I the only one that reckons that women with spastis and people carriers? Well, clearly not. There was a worrying moment there where I thought I was going to have to say bucket fanny. Thankfully, that's been avoided. Ladies, if you get a burning sensation when you pee, it could be one of 3 things. It could be cystitis, it could be a bushfire, or it could be someone's talking about your vagina. When it comes to charity, a lot of people will stop at nothing. I saw a charity appeal in The Guardian a couple of weeks ago and it read, "Little Zuki has to walk 15 miles every day just to fetch water." And I couldn't help thinking, she should move. I've sponsored a child in Africa. She's got the Jimmy Carr t-shirt, the Jimmy Carr hat. But I worry, is it doing any good? I've not got any more bookings. I was out last week collecting for a sponsored walk. In the end, I managed to raise so much money, I was able to afford a taxi. I tell you what, just before the end of the show, ladies and gentlemen, you know, we've had a fun night, haven't we? Yeah. That was quite a good laugh, I thought. I enjoyed myself. Fuck yeah. No, it's been really nice. Thank you very much indeed for coming out. I don't want to bring you down at the end of the show, but I'd like to just tell you this. It's quite a frightening fact. I'd just like to end on this. I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but if you took all the money that we in the West spend on food in just 1 week, you could feed the third world for 1 year. Now, I don't know about you good people, but I can't help feeling we're being overcharged for our groceries. People often ask me how I do this for a living. How do you get up in front of people for an hour and a half or 2 hours and tell them jokes? It must be petrifying. Well, the secret is, what you do if you're doing any kind of public speaking, this really works. What you do, you imagine the people you're talking to are naked. Yeah, really works. A couple of things to remember. Firstly, don't tell the people you're talking to that's what you're doing. Because that could be a little bit creepy. And secondly, it doesn't work as well if you work in a primary school.
Someone came up to me and said, I don't want to hurt your feelings, but you look like Jimmy Carr. How am I supposed to not take that personally? That's my face. That's all I've got to work with. I realise I've got quite a broad face. I've got quite good girth on my face. And girth is not a term traditionally associated with an attractive face. You know those things you get by the seaside? The big cardboard cutout thing by the seaside? Big, fat, jolly man in an all-in-one red and white striped suit running down Skegness Beach. You know the one? And they cut the face out so you can stick your head through, take a hilarious holiday photo. Well, when I stick my head through one of those, it just looks right. I was going to tell you a little bit about behind the scenes. Not behind the scenes here at the Bloomsbury Theatre, because there's fuck all going on back there. But behind the scenes more generally. You know in television commercials, when they use chimpanzees to advertise tea and whatnot, because we'll buy anything if chimpanzees were involved, because chimpanzees are adorable. Well, what they do when they're filming a commercial with chimpanzees is they give the chimpanzees peanut butter. And the peanut butter sticks to the roof of the mouth of the chimpanzee. Makes the chimpanzee go... Because they're not used to the peanut. They quite like it, but they're not used to it, so it makes them go... Makes it look as if the chimpanzee is talking. Well, that's also how they make Hollyoaks. Interesting fact for you. Are you having to explain that to her? Oh. It's clearly a mixed ability group.
According to Ofcom, the people that make the guidelines for television, according to Ofcom, the most offensive words on TV are the F word and the C word. But I'm live on stage this evening, so I can say whatever the fuck I like. And those cunts can't do anything about it. I had trouble getting out tonight. Had to organise a babysitter. I don't have children. Just found they're a lot cheaper than escorts. She's 17, there's nothing she won't do for £50. Sort of half a joke, that, isn't it? Because it's quite funny, but also true. When I'm away from home, I sometimes get lovesick. Well, they call it chlamydia. I spend a lot of my time away from home, because this is my job. I travel around the country telling jokes to people. I love it. But I spend a lot of my time away staying in hotels because I have to travel. I was in a hotel a couple of weeks ago, walked into the hotel room. As I walked in there, just on the TV it said, "The adult channel is disabled." I thought, that's a bit specialist. I'm joking. Do you ever hear anything so dumb it's almost brilliant? So stupid, it takes you a moment to work out what just happened. I'll give you an example. I was on a bus. I heard this girl get on the bus, walk up to the driver and go, "Can I get a return?" And the driver went, "Where to?" And she went, "Back here." It took me like an extra beat to... Oh, what's going on? Oh, she's a fucking idiot. Case closed. People worry about their physical appearance. We've all got silly hang-ups. Personally, I worry that one of my balls is bigger than the other two. I shave my testicles. I call them Brazil nuts. Makes me giggle. Because it tickles when I do it. The first few weeks of joining Weight Watchers, you're just finding your feet. Well done. All together or not at all on the laughter, I think. Feed line, punchline, laugh. Don't fuck about. You're getting it late nonsense. Are there any ginger people in tonight? We got any ginger people? We seem to have contained the problem there. Good. Ginger people get given a hard time. People say very unkind things about gingers, but I think you should be destroyed humanely. My favourite thing about natural disasters, and I know it's wrong to have a list. Certainly getting it laminated was a mistake, but my favourite thing about natural disasters is the fact they call them acts of God, and then 2 days later they have a day of prayer. So they have a day of prayer for an act of God. What I want to know is, how does that prayer go? Dear Lord, what the fucking hell was that all about? Half the people that have ever smoked have now stopped.
which sounds good, but when I say stopped, a lot of them are dead. I just think there's nicer ways of saying things, aren't there? Like saying, I've got a lot of nieces and nephews is a nice way to say my sister is a slut. She favours the flatter shoe is a nice way to say lesbian. Scared of the dark is a nice way to say horrible racist. I'm thinking of launching a fragrance is a nice way to say pull my finger. When I was at school, a girl called Alice wanked off a dog for 3 cigarettes. I know what you're thinking. How did a dog get cigarettes? I think British men have got a fairly terrible reputation in the bedroom. We're always saying the wrong thing. I remember once having a one-night stand with a girl, and after the sex, she turned to me and jokingly said, "Who's going to sleep in the wet patch?" I said, "You're optimistic. I'm not staying." This is a good story about how bad British men are in the sack. I've got a friend. He went on holiday to Ibiza. He was about 25 at the time, and he picked up a girl, got her back to the villa. They made love underneath the moonlight on the veranda. Sounds fairly romantic, I think, as a setting. But he managed to fuck it up. Don't worry about that. She turned to him. She said, "Talk dirty to me." Or, more accurately, talk dirty to me. He had a couple of seconds to think. OK, gentlemen, you've all got a couple of seconds. Just go to the place in your head, the little Rolodex of dirt. Next to the wank bank, generally. You know, you've got something smutty you could get out pretty quickly. You've all got something, right? He had a few seconds to think. He came up with the following. "Have some of that, you fat slag." Have some of that, you fat slag. Fucking hell. I imagine pretty quickly followed by, "Why are you crying?" In terms of romance, it's right up there with, "Well, it won't suck itself." I'm not saying that women aren't as bad. Women can be as bad. I once had sex with an Australian girl. She said mid-coitus, whilst fucking. She said, "Have you slimed yet?" Have you slimed yet? I thought it was not fucking Ghostbusters. I fantasise about having sex with a gymnast. Not just because they're really bendy and flexible and you could do loads of extraordinary positions, but also because I imagine they do a brilliant dismount. They end up by the side of the bed like that. And if they bend their knees even just a little bit, you can make them do it again. 80% of personal ads say good sense of humour required. And the reason 80% of personal ads say good sense of humour required is because everything else in the personal ad is a lie. You turn up on the blind date, she says, "I know I said I was petite and pretty, but you've got to laugh." You think, "Yeah, I notice it also says you enjoy long walks, which is handy because you can fuck right off." You're looking slightly disapproving there, madam. You all right? I like the fact that you two look incredibly rock and roll in a sea of middle class. What a wonderful thing. What do you do? Are you in a band or something?
Me?
Yeah.
No, I work in a shop called Cyber.
Called Cyber what?
Cyber Dog.
Cyber Dog? Where do you think I got this? Hey? It's rubber on the inside. I might have a funky underpinning. I don't know what a funky underpinning is. That's how unfunky I am. Were you expecting more thrash metal at this gig? Yes, I'm sorry to disappoint. And your partner there, so you've got a similar look about you. What do you do, sir?
I manage a fetish clothing shop.
You manage a fetish clothing shop. Whereabouts? Covent Garden. It's a great spot for it. What's the weirdest request you've ever had in the store?
Someone wanted a douchebag fitted to a catsuit.
Someone wanted a douchebag fitted to a catsuit. They're all words I vaguely understand, and yet when you say them, what? Hang on, what's a douchebag?
It's a special facility that goes back to the catsuit so that people can defecate into them at will.
Oh, a douchebag!
I thought you said something else. Oh, all right. The device I have on my catsuit so I can defecate at will. Surely if you've got a catsuit on, you should really be going in the sandpit. Are you off to buy a... Did we just say defecate at will and you were off? Have you been hypnotised at some point? Should say it's lovely to see so many ladies out this evening, especially a show starting at 7 o'clock. The tea won't make itself. You're just staring, quietly judging. Yes, quite right. No. You look quite annoyed.
I get it from him all the time.
You get it from him all the time, do you? You lucky girl. I bet you love it. Sorry, it's in 1975. What do you do?
I work in a bookshop.
You work in a bookshop? Is it an adult bookshop?
In the children's section.
In the children's section of an adult bookshop. That is bad. Did you know women reach their sexual peak after 35 years?
Yes.
Men reach theirs after about 4 minutes. Which is why we get more done. Ladies and gentlemen, it's an honour and a privilege to be here, I imagine. Yeah, well done me. I went out earlier to get a cup of coffee. Someone came up to me and said, "Are you Jimmy Carr or do you just look like Jimmy Carr?" I said, "Both." You know when you go around to a friend's house for the first time and they say to you, "Did you find it okay?" What are you meant to say? "No, I'm still lost." A lot of people think I'm posh. Who here thinks I'm posh? Yeah. Well, compared to you, yes. But I'm not as posh as people think. I actually went to one of the roughest colleges in Cambridge. Fame is weird. I'm at a very weird level of fame now where people come up to me and say hello to me in the street. Yeah, it's very flattering, it's lovely. But then they'll insult me when they're talking to me. They'll say things like, "You're not as fat as you look on TV." What do you mean, not as fat? Well, this is my favourite. They go, "You're actually quite funny." Like they're saying, "Imagine my surprise, you're not totally fucking shit." So I'm flattered they've said hello, but then I'm angry they've insulted me. So I'm angry and flattered at the same time. Those are weird emotions to have at the same time. So I try and do the same thing back. I say, "Well, you're a super little cunt." I keep on getting mistaken for Alan Carr. So what I've done is I've stopped sucking men off. That was my hand symbol for no more cock. Wetting your bed is embarrassing as a child, but as an adult, wetting a child's bed is mortifying. It's almost impossible to explain that shit away. Well, it's early on in the evening. Let's try some easy jokes to start with, shall we? Good luck. I was in the south of France. I saw a brownie on a school trip. She was holding up a book. It said on the front, "Rough Guide." I thought, yeah, she's not a looker. That's the easiest joke in the show. If you don't get that, you might as well fuck off now, mate. 3% of Britons never leave a tip, and they're known as the weirdos that live at the tip. I saw a headline, it said, "Britain faces crisis." I thought, what, we're running out of faces? When someone recommends a book to me and they say, "It's a page-turner," I always think, yeah, I know how books work. I bought a home pregnancy kit. Turns out my house is pregnant. We're thrilled, we're having a shed. Has anyone got any questions or queries about sex or relationships? Anything you need to know?
What's your favourite position?
I like reverse cowgirl, but, you know, I'm old-fashioned that way. What's yours, sir? Various. I think I can...
It's a match, eh? Pick and mix.
Yeah, I imagine, it's either that or that. Yeah.
I was parked earlier on a single yellow line and I was worried about the traffic warden coming when I wasn't there, so I left a little note on the windscreen for the traffic warden. Do you do that? I always leave a note saying, "Oi, traffic warden cunt, I fucked your mum." Apparently, the rear passenger side of the car is the safest place to be in an accident. Yeah. Although I think if you're back there, it might explain why you crashed. If it's an offence to impersonate a policeman, why have we got community support officers? My girlfriend's got one of those tiny little strips of hair. What are they called? Moustache. Landing strip? She's only 12. I'm joking. She's got a landing strip. She's a very hairy little girl. I've slightly upset myself with that. She's a vegetarian. Any other vegetarians in? A few vegetarians around? Caroline's vegetarian. She thinks it's disgusting that I eat veal, but she eats baby carrots. They're babies. Of course, some women can eat whatever they want, they don't put on any weight, and they're called bitches. Not that I don't mind the fuller figure, I quite like the larger lady. I went out with a girl once who was quite a lot larger. Yeah. When she sat around the house, she sat around the house. If you had a pillow fight, you had to use a duvet. I undressed her with my eyes, it took me 45 minutes. I tried to spoon with her, it's more like a ladle. I've got a photo of her somewhere, taken by Google Earth. My girlfriend and I are trying for a baby. We got pretty close outside Asda last Saturday. I was in Los Angeles last year doing a bit of work and I got stopped at the airport. They said, "Purpose of visit?" I said, "I'm here to shoot a pilot." That's 3 hours of my life I'm not getting back. I was told when I was 12 years of age by my Catholic priest, he said to me, "God is watching you when you masturbate." I said, "Is he a pedo too far?" I'm joking, I said, "Is he a pedo too far?" Now, that joke may be offensive to Catholics, but it's not the only reason I like it. The thing about Childline... I haven't said anything yet. The thing about Childline is now we have a generation of children that can't keep a secret. I know that doesn't sound very charitable, but let me leave you with this. 10 pence from the sale of every one of my DVDs goes to the poor, underprivileged children of Cambodia, who manufacture them. Very nice of you, Birmingham. I couldn't ask for a better audience. It would hurt your feelings. Well, that's pretty much my show. I thought a nice way to end might be, there's a theory in comedy. Lenny Bruce, the American satirist, was the first to say it. He said the audience is a genius. And the idea is, the audience, you regulate comedy. You decide what a comedian can and can't say on stage, because if you don't laugh at a joke, it is not socially acceptable. If you do, then just by definition, it is socially acceptable. I thought, well, we could put that to the test tonight. We could start gently, work our way up and see at what stage Birmingham goes, "Oh, for fuck's sake." Do you want to give it a go? Yeah. OK, all right, well, we'll start gentle, we'll work our way up, OK? So everyone's comfortable. At some stage, people will stop laughing, and then that's the end. Exciting. Well, we'll start gentle. Pope Benedict. Incidentally, he's called Pope Benedict because he comes with a hollandaise sauce. Hang on, that's not a hollandaise sauce. Benedict! As head of the Catholic Church, Pope Benedict is the boss of every Catholic priest in the world. He's effectively king of the pedos. I read about a Catholic priest that exposed himself, so they defrocked him. They don't help themselves, do they? Well, they do, that's part of the problem. This scandal could bring the Catholic Church to its knees. You've got to finish that one in your own head. Somewhat ironically.
I personally, I don't think the Pope should worry about the sex scandal. It'll all get sorted out soon enough when Jesus Christ, our Lord and Saviour, comes back from the made-up. Well, you all seem pretty happy with a little bit of Christian baiting, yeah? Should we take it up again? Okay. My girlfriend can be really loud during sex. I don't know why. She knows no one's coming to help. Fine. Up another gear? Treat them mean, keep them keen. You all heard that expression? Treat them mean, keep them keen. Treat them mean, you will keep them keen. If that was really true, if that really worked, treat them mean, keep them keen, wouldn't the Jews absolutely adore the Germans? Really? Really? A round of applause on a joke about the worst thing that's ever happened? Ever? Where do we go from there? It's a joke about the worst thing that's ever happened. Hang on. This might offend some of you. People say, smug, sanctimonious people, in my opinion, but people do say from time to time, you hear them, Princess Diana should have been wearing a seatbelt. If she'd been wearing a seatbelt, she'd be here with us today. To those people, I say this. I say, you try snorting cocaine off a cock in the back of a limo while wearing a seatbelt. You can't be fucking done. I saw that little shaky head there, and I presume that was disapproval, madam. But to me, that looked like you were going, it can't be done, I've tried a million fucking times. Where do we go from there? Okay, so we've had one fucking hell, but everyone else seems fine. You better fuck off.
Before we move on from Sean, can you tell us, can you give us a little bit of the inside story of Carrot in a Box?
Sure. Picture the scene, the Cats Countdown. No, it was the Cats office, right? The regular 8 out of 10 Cats. And we were doing a Christmas special, and we had made, I think, 20 episodes that year, and we were out of idea. And someone said, we've got this idea for a game show. They thought it was going to be an ITV game show called Carrot in a Box. They were, like, clearly on something. And they went, well, we could play that. It's Christmas, why don't we play games? And they pitched it to me and John Richardson and Sean Locke, and me and John went, I don't really think there's anything in it. And Sean went, we should do that. And then he did, and not only did he win, he psychologically destroyed John. I mean, ruined him. Absolutely ruined him. I mean, it's such a fun show to make. I mean, obviously, I get asked all the time about Rachel on the show, which is an odd... Yeah, this is what I get. I'll be in a hotel or a bar, whatever, late at night. Guys won't even say hello to me. They'll just come up to me and go, have you fucked Rachel Riley? And you go, dude. Yeah. But you've got to promise not to tell her. She just thinks she gets sleepy when she drinks. That's a joke, obviously. But I'm not saying I wouldn't. I mean, obviously it's never going to happen, is it? Rachel's in a happy marriage. I'm also in a relationship. It's never going to happen, but if it did, I would ride that like a stolen bike. I don't want to be crude because there's younger people in, but what I'm saying is I would crawl over broken glass to suck the cock of the last man that fucked her. No, but all I'm saying is, please, she's a very intelligent woman, and she's beautiful, and she's fun. She's got a great sense of humour. So what I'm saying is I would fuck her until the neighbours complained about the smell. Just trying to be honest here. She's so fit, I'd fuck her dad. Here's the thing with that. My favourite thing about those jokes or whatever, and the thing with Rachel is we're legit really good friends. So whenever I write a joke about her or do a joke about her on stage, I always call her and go, all right, Rach, how's Pasha? How's the kids? All right, yeah? No, I've just written a joke about you. Go on. Aww. It's about how I'd fuck your dad.
I'm kind of glad, I'm
She's
kind
so
of
cool.
relieved to know that she's on board with it.
Oh, she's totally cool, you know. Actually, so's Susie Dent's great on the show as well. I mean, Christ, she can take a joke. And a dick. No. That came out of just being, when you're in a writing room and you're doing a show like that and we're writing jokes about Rachel and Susie every week, we just ran out of ideas. And one day in the writing room, I just went, what if Susie's a slag? And the notion of her, this nicest woman in the world, we went, what if she's just a cock goblin slut? And we just fell about laughing at the idea. Clearly not the case. And she's gone, yeah, fine. She's made Dictionary Corner her own, because now it vibrates.
I feel like just to turn the tables for a moment, perhaps on behalf of Susie and Rachel, maybe we should change what we're talking about. Maybe I could ask you about how it felt to sort of write in the book, to really open up about your, shall we say, financial journey.
I mean, that is the nicest that question has ever been phrased. Yeah, I think if you bought a biography by me and I didn't mention being publicly shamed over tax, you would feel shortchanged. Very much like HMRC did. I mean, you've got to, listen, I did it, I held my hands up, I apologized, paid it back, but it couldn't have gone any worse. People are interested, I think, now in, do you want to know how much money I saved in tax? Yeah. Like the actual figure? Yeah. You interested to know? Yeah. Fuck all. Despite quite a lot of effort on my part. It couldn't have gone any worse. I'm the only person in this room, I'm confident saying it, the only person in this room that would have been better off financially taking advice from a Nigerian general over email. Every day's a school day, though. Something like that happens, and you learn a thing or two. You know, I've become quite the expert in tax. Oh, I'll give you advice on it right now. If you get a letter through from HMRC, do the responsible thing, pop it in the recycling. Don't worry about the letter. They will send another letter. Okay. Those cunts love a letter. If, on the other hand, keep and peel for this, if the Prime Minister of the country that you live in breaks off from the G20 summit, he's in a meeting with the 19 most important people in the world, and he comes out early to a press conference where he talks about nothing other than your personal tax affairs, that is going to be a problem. Although, in my defence, I never fucked a pig. Let's face facts, Glasgow. If you Scottish ever find a way to deep fry whiskey, you are fucked. Interesting little fact for you, hopscotch was originally invented in Glasgow by children trying to step over their alcoholic parents. True story. Let's talk about some dumb things. I see a lot of dumb things around. I see a lot of dumb signs. I was in a supermarket, I saw a sign that said, buy two, get one free. I only wanted one, so I took the free one. I don't want to show off about my showbiz lifestyle, but I was in a Yates's wine lodge. Yeah, I was in a Yates's wine lodge, and I got talking to the barmaid, and I asked her how many types of wine they did in Yates's wine lodge, and she said, both. Let's talk about some important social issues. There's a guy I work with, and every day he has what looks like fish fingers. I think he was in a fire. Don't tell me that's too brutal for Glasgow. Most domestic fires need just 4 things to start: a source of oxygen, a source of heat, gambling debts, and an up-to-date insurance certificate. I hate people that make loud noise on public transport, particularly explosions. Annoying. I got into an argument. I said women have a lower pain threshold than men. She said, try childbirth. I said, I have. How do you think I got here? Do you know the NHS is currently so underfunded that couples wanting IVF treatment to help them conceive are being told to go and fuck themselves? Remember, dogs die in hot cars, or a heavy blow to the back of the head will work just as well. Really? That's the one that got you? Okay. I came home the other night, my girlfriend was dressed up as a French maid. Very disappointed, the house was a fucking state. Filthy slut. Well, let's talk about love and romance and sex. Let's talk about sex, Glasgow. There's a very commonly held belief that men think about sex every 7 seconds, which I think makes talking to your dad creepy. British men spend on average 22 minutes on foreplay. Of course, that is spread out between all of us over the course of a year. Women who read romance novels have twice as much sex as the national average. While I say sex, what I mean is they yield the precious softness of their silken female innocence to the crushing firmness of his intent. Sorry, I came over all Catherine Cookson there. It's not a great phrase to use. That'd be like painting the Forth Bridge. The average person has 2 pounds of meat lodged in their colon. So come on, love. Of course, most people don't know this, but confetti, you know confetti that you get at a wedding? Confetti represents fertility and the seed of man, which is quite accurate because a lot of it does end up in the bride's hair. Women have a go at men because we're no good at multitasking, but then you have a go at us when we piss in the shower. It's like we can't win. Speaking of multitasking, I had a threesome last week. My girlfriend is pretty cool, but if she finds out about this, I'm in trouble. I did have a threesome. I know you're probably thinking, yeah, probably you, a girl, and another bloke. No, it's actually me and 2 blokes.
Well, thanks for watching that. I'm Jimmy Carr, by the way, and no, I appreciate you being here, appreciate you watching it, but I have an ask. Could you watch Natural Born Killer on Netflix? Because then the good people at Netflix will be happy, and I'll get another one. That'd be fun. And then come and see me live. That's where the real fun happens, and you can heckle. It's the Last Funny Tour. For details, go to jimmycarr.com. And yeah, thanks again for watching the thing.